Class 8, Chapter 3, Princess September. The story, Princess September, revolves around the youngest daughter of the king and queen of Siam, named September. It is an interesting story that talks about the love and bond of humans and birds. It also tells us about the importance of freedom as a basic right of every individual. The king of Siam had 9 daughters. The queen used to find it difficult to remember so many names. So, the king named his daughters after the name of the months of the year. Therefore, the eldest was called January and the youngest was named September. The king had a peculiar habit of giving gifts to his daughters on his birthday. One year, he gifted a green parrot in a golden cage to each of his daughters. The daughters loved their gifts and were proud of their parrots. They taught their parrots to say, "God save the king" and "Pretty Polly." One morning, when Princess September went to say good morning to her parrot, she saw her parrot lying dead at the bottom of its golden cage. The princess burst into a flood of tears. Nothing that her maids of honor said comforted her. The queen found all this nonsensical and ordered the maid of honor to put the princess in her bed without serving her any dinner. While the princess lay in her bed, crying in grief of her dead parrot, a little bird came hopping into her room. As the princess saw him, he began to sing a beautiful song about the lakes, the trees, and the willow, and so on. When he had finished singing, the princess was not crying anymore, and she had forgotten that she was hungry. The little bird asked her to take him in place of the parrot. Next morning, with great delight, the princess showed the little bird to all her sisters. For each of the sisters, the bird sang a new and beautiful song. Then, the princess showed her new friend to the king and the queen. The king was delighted to see the bird, for the bird sang beautifully and was unlike the parrots of the 8 sisters who just knew how to say "God save the king" and "Pretty Polly." Seeing the king speaking favorable of the little bird and hearing him sing beautifully, the 8 sisters grew jealous of September. The sisters decided to plan a strategy to get rid of the little bird. They made an offer to September to give their pocket money in helping September to buy a new parrot. When September refused, they questioned the freedom of the bird by pointing out to his absence every now and then, making September insecure. They also advised her not to take any risk and put the bird in the cage. On realizing that the bird had been away too long, September begins to worry about the safety of her bird. She fears hawks and snares might have harmed it. She also begins to fancy ideas like the bird might have forgotten her and become a pet to someone else. All these ideas greatly disturbed her. When the bird returns, on being asked behind his delay, the bird, unknowing of the circumstances, honestly tells her that his father-in-law was giving a party and he intended not to come back. Hearing this, September makes up her mind and puts the bird in the cage. Initially, the bird thought that September was putting him temporarily in the cage, but when he realized he was being caged forever, he becomes very unhappy. Next morning, the bird asked September to let it out of the cage, but Princess September told it that it was much better where it was. The bird tried to slip through the bars of the cage, but it couldn't come out. Other princesses came and they told Princess September that the bird would soon get used to the cage. The princess asked the bird to sing, but the bird said that it could not sing. It wanted to see the trees, the lake, and green fields. The bird did not sing. The next day, Princess September went to the cage. She cried to see the bird as it looked dead, but it was not actually dead. The princess started weeping. The bird said that it could not sing unless it was free, and if it could not sing, it would die. The princess set the bird free. She promised it that she would not put it in a cage again. The bird replied that it loved the princess. It would come to her, it would sing the loveliest songs for her. It would also never forget her. The bird then flew away. The other princesses came to know of it. They made fun of Princess September, saying the bird would never return. But the bird returned. It sat on September's shoulder. It ate out of her hands. It sang her beautiful songs. So the princess kept her window open day and night so that the bird could come and go any time it liked. The princess grew very beautiful because she slept with her windows open. The king married her to the king of Cambodia. She was carried all the way to the city on a white elephant. But her sisters never slept with their windows open, so they grew very ugly. The king married them to his counselors.